Hi, I'm Ellie with Yellow Your Spirit Yoga, and welcome to your practice. Today's lesson is going to be all about the heart and gratitude because we are in the holiday season. As you can see, I'm wearing my holiday yoga pants for this special occasion. So during any type of holiday, it's always really nice to just come back to gratitude for all the little things, all the big things, and where we feel gratitude is in our heart space. So it's always nice to kind of open up shoulders, consciously breathe into the front and the back part of the heart space. We'll move a little bit into some flowing a flowing sequence, and then we'll have some standing postures before we come down to the mat for some surrendering poses, and then a little bit of a Savasana at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to come into table pose. So spread the fingers really, really wide and really take up space with the entire palms, with both palms. The hips will be right over the knees. The tops of the feet will be very lightly pressing down, but make certain that you feel all the toes there connected. And then look down in between your hands. Lengthen the neck, tuck the chin maybe just a little bit, push the shoulder blades back, and then firm up the ribs a little bit, like as if they're squeezing towards the center, and you'll feel your core engage a little bit. So again, connect into the hands, shoulders away from the ears, firm up the ribs. Imagine the tail is lengthening long behind you and the top of the head is lengthening forward. And start to find your breath. You have tons of space here to really breathe into the belly, in the ribs, and into the chest, but also into the back part of the body. So the lower back, the mid back, the upper back. Start to hear your breath in your throat. Ujjayi breath, that really nice, warm, victorious breath. So again, you're breathing into the front part and the back part of the torso, breathing into the sides of the ribs, really just kind of nourishing the body with deep, conscious breathing. And then keeping this breath, bring the hips back and come into child's pose. You don't have to open the knees for this one, but really connect into the palms, bring the forehead down. You can let the elbows touch down, or you can keep them lifted. And now start to feel this length in the lower back, all the way out through the fingertips. And start to feel the sense of gratitude. And you can also bring into your heart space some little things, some big things, anything that you feel gratitude for, even in this actual moment. And when you feel grateful, how does it make you feel in your body? So notice what it does when you're breathing in and visualizing and really feeling gratitude for something. Sometimes it softens. It helps us soften a little bit more, maybe in our facial muscles and our shoulders. And then on your next inhale, come up to table pose, and we'll move breath to movement into cat-cow. So drop the chest and the tailbone up, pull the shoulders back, look a little forward, inhale. Exhale, pull the belly in, tailbone in, chin to the chest, and really push the ground away. Really connect into the palms. And then again, inhale. So now send the tailbone up, open the heart. Exhale, round everything in, press even into the feet. And continue moving this way. So you're just checking in here, noticing what feels tight, what feels good, how the breath is. Starting to link breath to movement. then come back into center. Extend the right leg back, extend the left leg back. We're in plank pose. Pull the tailbone in so it's pointing to the back heels. And then again, firming into the palms, pull the sternum forward. Feel the ribs firming up towards the center. And then lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Now take a moment here to just explore this downward facing dog. If it's the first one of the practice, you can bend one knee and push the opposite heel down, and then do that on the other side. Look to the hands, make certain the wrists are lined up with the top of the mat, index and thumb connected. Push the chest back towards the thighs, but keep the knees nice and soft. Keep that breath full, keep gratitude kind of flowing through the breath as the intention, and noticing what that does in the body during difficult situations. So if you're feeling, that it's the first one and you're a little challenged, or if maybe you feel that we're holding it a little bit too long, come back to gratitude. See what it does to the body. Keep the breath full. And then come back into plank pose. So from plank pose, again, tailbone comes towards the heels. Take a moment here again, just firming up, relaxing the facial muscles. Bring the knees down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to bend the elbows and bring the thighs, hips, belly, and chest down. The hands will be a little bit lower than the chest. So squeeze the elbows in, kiss the shoulders, tap the tops of the feet down, and then pull the body forward and lift up into cobra. So just a little baby cobra. Try and lengthen the neck. And then slowly come back down. And then again, so pull the body forward, squeeze the elbows, kiss the shoulders, and then lift the chest a little bit. Shoulders away from the ears, neck is long, so you might need to tuck the chin. And then slowly release. Now pull the back into downward facing dog. As you inhale, come forward into plank pose. As you exhale, bring the knees down, lower thighs, hips, belly, chest. Inhale for cobra. Kiss the shoulders, kiss the elbows, lift the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then one more time. Inhale into plank pose. Exhale, lower down. Use the knees, firm up the belly as you lower. Inhale for cobra. Lengthen the neck. Keep the palms engaged. Downward facing dog. And then look to the hands. Inhale. Exhale, step the feet all the way to the top in between the hands. Let the feet come hips distance apart. Bend the knees softly. Let the fingers touch. So if you need to put your hands on blocks, please do. And then just let the torso drape over the thighs. And if you feel the belly's touching the belly touching the thighs, which I am, I love that. So you can breathe deeply into the belly so you can feel it actually pushing your thighs. Now slowly start to squeeze the inner thighs together, the inner heels together. You can move the blocks out of the way. Bring the chin to the chest and roll yourself up really slowly to a standing position, Tadasana, mountain pose. Roll the shoulders back. Let the fingers be soft. Keep the engagement of the inner thighs. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the neck. Close the eyes for a moment. Feel the stability through the legs, through the feet and into the legs. And then feel the length of the torso coming out of the pelvis and the length of the neck coming out of the shoulders. We'll move into Surya Namaskar, so a sun salutation to warm up, and then we'll move on. Inhale, reach the arms up for Urdhva Hastasana. Look up, touch the fingers. Exhale, Uttanasana. We're going to dive down so we can keep the heart open. Let the fingers touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back, heart open. Exhale, plant the palms, spread the fingers, plank pose. Inhale in plank pose as you draw the sternum forward. Exhale, bend the knees, lower down to the belly. This is Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra pose. Kiss the elbows. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a couple moments here. Breathing, feeling, returning back to gratitude. Noticing what that feels like.
Now press the chest back towards the thighs. Inhale the right leg high if you wish. Otherwise you can come down to the knees. Exhale, bring the right foot forward next to the right thumb for low lunge. Now squeeze the inner thighs together. Use the fingertips to pull the sternum forward and the belly is in. Take an inhale here as you press into that front heel. And then exhale, downward facing dog again. Spread the fingers, push the chest back towards the thighs, soften the knees. Now lift the left leg as you inhale, or just come down to the knees. As you exhale, bring the left foot forward next to the left thumb. Squeeze the inner thighs again. Inhale, sternum forward, belly in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a moment. Now inhale the right leg high again or come down to the knees. Exhale, low lunge. Bring it forward. Bring the back knee down. Now squeeze the feet together. Inhale, reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana, like you want to touch the ceiling. Exhale as you come back down into down dog. So exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. Inhale the left leg high. Push the chest back towards the right leg. Exhale, low lunge. Bring the knee down. Squeeze the feet together. Inhale, lengthen out of the pelvis with the torso and the arms, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look at the hands, keep breathing, press into the heels of the hands, into the index of the thumb, and then go ahead and bring the ears in between the biceps. The chin tucks a little bit. Inhale, come forward into plank pose. Squeeze the inner thighs. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Bring the knees down. Let the elbows kiss the ribs. Inhale for cobra. Lengthen the neck. Pull the heart forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now slowly come down to the knees. Come back into a child's pose. And again, look at the palms. See that they're super connected. So fingers are spread, the base of the palms are connected, each fingertip is connected, and then bring the forehead down. Return back to that really beautiful deep breath. Bringing in the sensation of gratitude, maybe something new or more things that you're grateful for. It never has to be just one thing. And then you just check in again. What does that do with the body? Where do you feel that you soften? Maybe your lips curl up a little and you feel a little smile. Come back into table pose. Turn the left foot to the left. And now extend the right foot. Turn your body to the right and reach the right arm up. So in the direction that your face is pointing. And the bottom arm is underneath the shoulder, or the hand is underneath the shoulder, or a little tiny bit in front. Reach the right arm up, roll the chest up, firm up the belly, and you can stay here. Otherwise, you can lift the right leg and flex it, and just notice if the breath is changing, if you can keep a really smooth texture to the breath, soften the face. Breathe into the front and the back part of the heart. And then slowly bring the hands down. Come back into plank pose as you inhale. As you exhale, lower down to the knees. Elbows kiss the ribs. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now come down to the knees again and turn the right foot to the side. And extend the left foot out, reaching the left arm up. So check into the outer edge of that left foot. You're reaching the left arm up, turning the chest a little bit, and maybe pulling the tailbone in just a little to find a little bit more length in the spine. Now lift the foot if you wish and flex it. Notice what that does to the breath. Stay smooth. And then slowly come down into plank pose as you inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga, so lower down. Inhale, Cobra. Really push the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a moment.
And then from here, come down to the knees, puppy pose. So the hips will stay right on top of the knees. Spread the fingers, reach forward, bring the forehead down. If you feel your nose is smashed and your shoulders feel okay, you can bring the chin to the mat and really just spread the breath. The front part and back part of the torso, relaxing tension in the shoulders and the neck and the face. Now come up and kind of push yourself forward so the pelvis comes down to the mat and your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. So we'll come into sphinx pose. I like to grab my elbows just to make certain that the width stays right underneath my shoulders. Each fingertip presses into the ground. Press the tops of the feet down and lift the knees. Press the pubic bone down and now drag your body forward, roll the shoulders back. Tuck the chin a little, look in between the thumbs, close the eyes. Start to breathe deeply, consciously into the front of the heart space and into the back part of the heart space that's in between the shoulder blades. Soften any tension that's around the eyes, in between the eyebrows. And then slowly come down. Bring one hand on top of the other, and then the forehead down in between the hands. And then from here, just again, breathe, push the belly into the mat. And slowly push the hands, or bring the hands back to back next to the chest, and then push back into downward facing dog. Now look to the hands. You can inhale here. As you exhale, bring the right foot forward. Now Virabhadrasana 1 is warrior 1. So you're going to bring the back foot a little bit forward, push the heel down. Notice the front knee is right on top of the front heel. And then push into the feet to lengthen the arms all the way up and then sink down into that front knee. So just make certain you're not on a straight line. Your feet are not on a straight line. You'll take one a little bit more to the right and one a little bit to the left. So you'll have a nice balance. So push down into your feet and lengthen out of your pelvis. Maybe you even look up and touch the palms, but you don't have to. If you are, look right past the thumbs and just breathe. The left hip comes forward. Feet are engaged. Now slowly interlace the hands behind your back. Okay, squeeze the palms together if you can, otherwise you can keep them separated. And then take the right foot and move it a little bit over to the right so you have some space. We're going to squeeze the shoulders together, look up, inhale. And as you exhale, humble warrior, you're going to bring the belly towards the thigh. And then look down at your right foot. Make certain that the left hip comes forward again and the right hip goes back. And if you feel that you're balanced, you can release the head down and look back towards your left foot. Now I'm squeezing my shoulders together and I'm pressing my hands forward towards the direction of my head. Notice how your breath can change in these difficult moments. And if you come back to gratitude, maybe you can notice something that changes in the body if you just return back to what you feel grateful for. Now release the hands down, come into low lunge, so you'll hop the back foot a little bit and then lift the heel on top of the back toes. Take the left hand onto a block or just onto the ground and reach the right arm up. Start to squeeze the inner thighs together and lift the sternum. Lift it and pull it forward. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the neck, reach the right fingertips up. And then look down at your right toe. Notice that you're pushing into the right toe and your front knee is bent right on top of the heel. And from here, you're going to slowly bring the hands down, standing separate leg forward fold. Turn to the left, turn the toes to face the same direction, and you're folding down. Now, your hands can be on blocks, they can be on the ground. Just move the weight forward and backwards into your feet a little bit. And then let the weight just stop
when it's about 20% into the front part of the foot, the ball mount of the foot. Relax the head. If your hands are not touching, please softly bend the knees, bring your hands on blocks, relax the head. And slowly come up for a halfway lift. Turn yourself back to the front of the mat and come into downward facing dog. And you can also take a child's pose if you want to. Press into the base of the toes. Lift the hips. Keep the breath deep. Now look to the hands as you inhale. As you exhale, bring the left foot forward. Low lunge, and then warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. So bring the foot forward a little, press into the heel, back to the front heel as you reach the arms up to the sky, and then you sink down into that front leg, the front knee. Push into the back heel as you turn your outer thigh forward. So the outer hip comes forward from the push in the heel. Instead of just really kind of turning the hips, you want it to come from the base of the heel. So the whole leg is engaged as you turn. Reach the arms up, pull the belly in, look up if it feels good. Stay here for a breath or two. This is the warrior of the heart. Feel the front big toe pressing down. Slowly interlace the hands behind your back. Squeeze the palms. Inhale as you lift the heart. Watch your balance. And then exhale, humbly bow. So bring the belly down. The knee stays right on top of the heel. Turn the right hip forward. And then if you want, you can release the head and look back towards the right foot, or you can continue to look at the left foot. Shoulders away from the ears. Gratitude at the heart center. Slowly release the hands down, low lunge. So hop the back foot a little bit so the heel is right on top of the toes. Squeeze the inner legs. You can grab your block here if you want to, and then reach the left arm up. Pull the belly in. You can look down at your left toe, press into it. Notice that the heel stays on top of the knee stays on top of the heel. And then extend through the back leg. So the back leg is engaged too. Relax the facial muscles. And then slowly come all the way to the right, standing separate leg forward fold. Bring the blocks if you need them. So the toes are now facing the same direction as your head. Fold from the hips, move the weight a little forward, a little backward, until you land about 20% into the front part of the foot. Soften the knees, lift the inner arches, relax the head, and then breathe. Let the head be as heavy as a bowling ball. Come up into a halfway lift, and then slowly turn to the top of the mat, downward facing dog. Take a moment here, or a child's pose. And maybe just kind of body scan and notice even the difference in the body right now from the first time that you did a down dog. Moving into pigeon pose, look to the hands, bring the left knee to the outer edge of the left hand. So you want the left knee to be outside of the right hip, and then look back at the right foot, bring the knee as far back as you can, flip the toes, and notice that the right foot, knee, and hip is in one line, and then turn the heart forward. You can come up to blocks here, you can come up to your fingertips, and this might just be enough. And if you're not feeling anything in the outer hip, you can take this foot and move it a little bit more forward. I like to keep it lightly flexed just to protect this left knee, but press into the blocks or into the floor to lift up and let the hips drop. If you feel good here, stay here. If you want a little bit more, you can come down to the elbows on the blocks at any height, or you can remove the blocks and extend the arms forward and bring the forehead down. Notice that you're not leaning towards the left side. You want the hips to feel balanced here. So this is a nice surrendering pose. So in a surrender pose, it's really nice to really let the exhale be longer than the inhale. Keep the breath really full as always, so push into the belly. But let the exhale be really long, releasing all the tension from secret areas it's hiding in, usually in this pose. So you scan a little bit, notice where tension's hiding, and you release it with the breath. A lot of thoughts might pop into the mind in this pose, especially in this pose for me. So deepening the breath, loudening the breath. So deeper breath, louder breath will really help kind of keep you present instead of floating around to other areas versus the present moment. Now slowly come back up to the hands. Press them into the blocks if they're not already, or onto the ground, and then really lift the chest up. And then slowly lift the back knee, come into downward facing dog. Take a moment here, notice the energy from the left hip to the left heel. And then look to the hands and bring the right foot to the outside of the right wrist. Look behind you, take that left knee back, press down into the back foot. So left foot, left knee, left hip in one line. And then even out your pelvis if you need to. Use the fingertips or the blocks to help lengthen the torso. Now from here you can adjust this front foot if you need to. Again, you can stay here. This side may feel totally different. So if you need to stay here and not fall forward, that's great. So stay here, only you know what your body needs, so you have to honor that. And then fold down if you want to. And right away, I like to take a scan on this side to notice, does my hip feel a little tighter? Can I, where am I holding tension on this side? Tension's always hiding in not the area where you think it is. So right now we would think it would be in the hip. But it could be hiding in your left toe, in your jaw, in between your eyebrows. So really consciously breathe deeply with the intention of releasing tension with every breath, and then returning back to gratitude. Maybe bringing all those little moments that you feel grateful for into your heart space, and tune in with what that does to your body, what it does to your mind, what it does to your heart when you actually think about how grateful you are. Let the breath get louder, let it get deeper. Now slowly come back up onto your hands, lift the chest a little bit, and then you'll come into downward facing dog again. And again, notice from the right hip to the right heel what that feels like. Now come down to the knees. We're gonna come standing onto the knees for camel pose. So I like to bring my toes onto the mat so it kind of lifts the ground and it gets it a little closer to you. We're going to use these front hip flexors to lean back and then lean forward, and do that a couple times so you can actually feel that they're strengthening here in the front, that you really need to use them. So now come back and lean back as much as you could and bring your hands onto the heels if you can. If not, you can take the blocks and put the blocks right next to the heels. I'll do that. And from there, you will push into the heels or the blocks to lift your hips, push them a little forward, and then lift the heart and keep rolling the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Now you can look up if it feels good. You can also bring the chin towards the chest. So imagine someone is pulling your hips forward, but your sternum wants to go up. So you're feeling this length from pubic bone to belly button to heart. And then slowly come back, bring the hands to the hips, use those hip flexors to come up, flip the toes, sit on your heels, close the eyes right away, and just relax the shoulders, breathe, notice what you're feeling. And then from here, we're gonna come have a seat on your bum, extend the legs forward, Paschimottanasana. If you can, bring the big toes to touch, otherwise you can bring the feet at hips width distance. I like to move my bum out of the way so the sit bones really get rooted. You can bring the hands next to the hips, push the ground away to find length in the torso, especially from pubic bone to belly button. Roll the shoulders back, tuck the chin, flex the feet, whether they're together or not. You can let the knees be soft. Reach the arms up as if you're holding a beach ball. So turn the palms in. Lengthen up as you inhale. Stick the tailbone back. And then as you exhale, keep the tailbone sticking back until you fold forward. Now you can grab your toes. You can grab your heels. You can grab your ankles. And you can simply just bring the palms down onto the mat. Whatever you're grabbing or touching, let the sternum pull forward. So you can pull back with the hands to let the sternum lengthen forward. So if you're feeling a lot of rounding in the lower back, you can roll the back of the mat or bring a towel or bring something that gives you a little bit of elevation so the pelvis can fall forward. You can bring the chin in, but let the shoulders relax away from the ears. Continue breathing deeply. You can push the knees down to get more of a stretch, or you can actually just bend them a little bit more and then grab the feet if you want to and really pull the sternum forward. Now slowly come back up. I'm going to bend the left foot and then take the right foot over the right knee, or if that's too much, you can keep the right foot on the inner part, on the inside of the knee. I'm going to take mine over, let the foot touch completely onto the mat. You can hug the left knee, bring the right fingertips behind you. Press into the fingertips to help extend your spine up as you inhale. As you exhale, push knee and arm together to twist the upper and middle back. Relax the shoulders, keep breathing fully and consciously. Every exhale, the belly button sinks back towards the spine. And then come back into center. You'll unravel the legs and you can shake them out a little bit. Now you'll take the right foot and you'll bend it. You'll take the left foot on top or wherever you need to. Take the left fingertips behind you, hug the knee. As you inhale, push into these little fingertips in the back to get really, really tall. And as you exhale, you will turn to the left to twist. So you're trying to find as much length as you can in the spine. So you're twisting from a lengthened spine and not compressed. A compressed spine, you always want to find length. Come back into center, release, shake out the legs. Now we're slowly going to lower ourselves back down onto the mat. I like to do it this way. Flex the feet, reach the hands forward, push the shoulder blades back, and then start to pull the tailbone in as if the tailbone is moving towards your toes. And you could slowly lower down as slow as you can, really using this lower core. And when you come down onto your back, baby, so bring the knees into the chest. First option, just take the hands and open up the knees, wider than the shoulders. This could be first option. Second option, you can flex the feet and bring the feet up towards the ceiling as if you're walking on the ceiling. And you can just grab behind the knees here and move from side to side. Third option is grabbing the ankles and pulling them down. And then the fourth option is grabbing the outer or inner edges of your feet and pulling gently, of course, your feet down towards the ground. Shoulder blades are down. Press your tailbone down. You can lift the head, tuck the chin, and then bring the head down and just breathe here. So let the belly and the ribs and the chest really expand as you inhale. And then let them deflate as you exhale. Now slowly you can release. Take the feet as wide as the mat, and you can extend the arms out to the side, or maybe you want to cactus the arms a little bit and just windshield wiper the legs. So drop them to the left, drop them to the right, just slowly. And then from here, we'll take a Savasana. So just take them some space on the mat. So open up the feet as wide or even wider than the mat. Relax down. Palms can face up to receive, which I prefer with this practice since it's all about heart space and gratitude. But if you need to kind of have a little bit of grounding, you can turn your palms to face down. So palms face up to receive and to give. Relax the shoulders, let the feet settle, let the knees soften, the hips and the pelvis softening down, lower back, the belly, the ribs are relaxing, the chest and the shoulders, the arms and the hands. The throat is softening, the neck relaxing. The head feels even heavier. Soften the jaw, soften the tongue. Let the upper lip relax, the cheekbones. The eyes sink down. The eyebrows soften, the forehead softens. And release the breath. You don't have to control the breath. And when you think you've released as much as you could, release just a tiny bit more and stay in that space. The mind will want to travel. Keep bringing it right back to body relaxing. Now, without opening your eyes, just start to deepen the breath. Feel the belly expand and deflate. Touch the thumbs to every fingertip. Start to move your toes and your ankles and your wrists. Breathe a little deeper. Stretch the arms overhead and stretch from fingertips to toe tips. Bring the knees into the chest. Roll yourself a little side to side, massaging the lower back, the lower ribs. And then turn yourself to whatever side feels comfortable with the arm underneath as a pillow. So you're going to come into a little, like a fetal pose. So the top arm rests down, the head rests on the pillow underneath. That is your arm. Take a moment here, just breathe, notice how you feel. And then slowly press yourself up. You can keep the eyes closed, come into a comfortable seat. You can sit on your heels or an easy pose, the legs crossed. Bring the hands down onto the knees, push into the knees to extend through the spine, and then bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra, the mudra right in front of your heart. Thumbs at the sternum. Lean back a little so that shoulders are over on top of the pelvis. Relax the shoulders, the neck is long. And just take a moment to bring back that gratitude in the heart space, in the front and in the back. So breathe deeply, almost like the chest is pushing into the thumbs. Notice what this feeling of gratitude does to the body. Noticing a softer facial expression, even with your eyes closed. Maybe a quieter mind, a softer mind, happier mind. Bring your thumbs in between the eyebrows. Press gently into the thumbs. Even with the eyes closed, look with your eyes towards the eyebrows. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, just bowing forward in gratitude for the practice, for each other, for ourselves. Namaste. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, you can hit the like button for me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Namaste.